live show. So if you're watching an archive, thank you very much. And if you're watching it live, feel free to enter the chat room and ask us questions, make comments, make the show better with your input. That'd be great. I have two of the best guys I know in sports handicapping, and they are Kevin Thomas and Rocky Atkinson. Rocky Atkinson is dealing with some severe thunderstorms in the area where he lives. And I'm monitoring that because if we lose him, it's probably because the electric went out. And there's a couple of games today where I think the team's batting that has gone out as well. In fact, all of Major League Baseball right now has they need electricity, I think, to get the batting averages back up to where they should be. The league is batting 231, which is the worst in I think 19 seasons. That's something to be proud of, I think. And I'm being facetious, of course, but a team like Houston that we're going to talk about later, batting 211. I don't care if it's 15 games or 50 games. That is god awful. But let's be positive. Welcome to the show, guys. Let's get right to it. Let's add the graphics here. We're going to talk the first game here about the Kansas City Royals. They are fifth in the American League Central, taking on the Chicago White Sox, third in the American League Central. The White Sox were big-time favorites in the futures market in the preseason. It is a marathon. I'm not too worried about them being 3 games under 500 right now. But if this goes on for another month and they're still under 500, we'll have a lot to talk about with the White Sox. Let's start with Kevin Thomas here and his take on this game and any best bet leads that you might have.
Yeah, those White Sox were projected to finish pretty high up, and if not number one, and 7 losses in a row. But the bats, like you said, we got to energize those bats. And with the Royals coming to town on 4 straight losses themselves, no better time here. I mean, they know Danny Lynch pretty well, and they've hit him pretty good. So then I'm going to look at Dallas Keuchel, and he was god horrible. To start the season, hey, he was Dallas. Next game, he made it through 1 inning, 10 hits. I mean, they got him out of there in a hurry. He's not one to throw up 2 stinkers in a row. So I'll go ahead and ride with the White Sox here. And I even might lay the 1.5 for the plus money.
That sounds very good. That sounds very intriguing. Let's see what Rocky Atkinson has for us in this matchup.
Yeah, I have to agree with Kevin here. The White Sox have underperformed so far this year. They lost 7 games in a row heading into tonight's game against the Royals. But the Royals haven't done much better. They lost 4 in a row heading into this one. The starters for tonight, Daniel Lynch for the Royals. He's 1-1 with a 5.40 ERA this year. He's 0-1 with a 10.80 ERA on the road this season. And Lynch is 1-2 with a 16.19 ERA in his 3 career starts against the White Sox. Keuchel gets the start for the White Sox here. He's 1-0 with a 5.40 ERA at home. And he's 7-4 with a 3.16 ERA in his 15 career starts against Kansas City. I feel like the White Sox are the better overall team here. The White Sox are 2-1 against left-handed starters this year, scoring 6.7 runs per game. They're 4-2 at home this season. The Royals are 0-4 on the road this season, allowing a whopping 7 runs per game. And Kansas City's also 1-7 after a loss this year. So I'm going to recommend playing the White Sox at home in this one.
That's good stuff. That is really good stuff. I'm just going to add just a little bit here with some coaching trends that support both of your leans here on the Chicago White Sox. We'll, at the end of the show, we do our best bet segment for those that are watching for the first time, so stick around for that. Tony La Russa, 25-5 in home games after a loss, and they are losing. It's 7 in a row, I think Kevin said. It reminds me of Steve Merrill. We all know Steve Merrill. We do that financial show together. And you just never want to catch a falling knife. That will be on his epitaph someday. You just never catch a falling knife. And that's what you'll be doing in so many situations where you're trying to think that, oh, a team is due to do something. Well, no, they're not. But La Russa is very supportive here for the White Sox tonight, 25-5. So it probably is safe to try to grab the falling knife with very thick rubber gloves on, I might recommend. Man, I'm really funny today, I'll tell you. Bethany is 25-51 against the money line after 2 or more consecutive losses as the manager of Kansas City. So we have 2 coaching trends here that are working against Kansas City and working very much for the White Sox. So I can lean with you guys on that play. So let's move on to the next slide here. And we got the Houston Astros, another team that is in complete disarray, in my opinion. They're using so many lineups already to try to get that offense started. I can't even begin to tell you. A guy that we know, Chas McCormick, was leadoff last night, so that was cool that happened. And he's definitely a player to keep on your player props too when they're available. He's a player that is definitely on the rise, or he wouldn't have been batting leadoff last night for the Houston Astros. This matchup here, I'll tell you guys flat out right from the start. I am on Texas. I was on Texas yesterday. And I don't think you stand in the way of a Houston Astros team that really is dominated by uppercut swings. Their designated hitter, whose name is escaping me now, uppercut swings. He has 7 hits and 46 at bats. I mean, it's terrible, but 4 home runs. So he's hitting more than 60% home runs when he actually hits the ball. And it's just a function of Major League Baseball wants to see the ball go out of the yard, and frankly, I'm kind of sick of it. I want to see doubles, and I want to see 4-run innings. I don't necessarily have to see 350-foot home runs. But let's start with Rocky this time in this matchup and see where he's going to take us with a possible best bet.
Yeah, John, I'm thinking the other side in this one. Houston's another team that has underperformed here this season. They've lost 5 of the past 6 games overall. Texas beat them last night 6-2. I'm thinking the Astros are going to seek a little revenge here tonight. Neither starter is having a good year so far. Odorizzi's 0-2 with a 9 ERA so far, while Taylor Hearn's 0-1 with a 7.59 ERA this season. Dating back to last year, Hearn is 0-3 with an 8.39 ERA his last 6 starts, And Odorizzi's 4-1 with a 3.67 ERA in his 11 career starts against Texas. And 3 starts last year against Texas, he had a 3.00 ERA, striking out 15, walking only 2 in those 15 innings of work. So he does well against this Rangers team. A bright spot for Houston is that they are 4-2 against left-handed starters this year. And Houston's 10-3 the last 13 games overall versus Texas in this series. Texas is only 2-5 at home this year. They're allowing 5.9 runs per game. Texas is 34-72 their last 106 games against right-handed starters. And Texas is 3-11 the last 14 games after a win. So I'm going to recommend a play on Houston to bounce back here in this one.
I liked it a lot, Rocky, but I'm gonna stick with my lean on Texas, I guess. I don't know. I can't go against you. That'd be impossible. Let's go on to Kevin Thomas here. Big time Phillies fan. I mean, right there, that's a reason to love this guy. And the Phillies are in that National League East, and he's smiling. So they can't be that many games out of first place. I don't think the Mets are in first place, and that's personally, I think that's a good thing. But Kevin, take it away and tell us where you're going to take us for a best bet in this matchup.
I like the Rangers last night as well, and I'm going to like them again here today, only because Jake Odorizzi, the guy's got more walks than strikeouts, and I'm not going to back any pitcher, especially as they're getting older and they're losing command and stuff, that has more walks than strikeouts. Especially when the Rangers, I mean, what were we thinking? They got rid of Joey Gallo, and they were making moves, and they're picking up all these horrible pitchers. We all thought, well, they're going to be in a rebuild, but then they go after Seager and stuff. They're playing. They want to hit. They want to play, and no better place to hit than Arlington. I don't think the Astros, especially with the injuries, every year they let one of their best hitters go. They can't figure it out right now. So for the value, I'm gonna back the Rangers if I'm forced to, but I wouldn't put money on this one.
Well, that doesn't help my situation at all. Me liking the Rangers. Well, we'll have to figure it out here in about the next 10 minutes. Because I was thinking of making that my best bet, but I'm not sure yet. Let's move on to the third and final matchup, and that is the Angels. The Los Angeles Angels are home against the Cleveland Guardians. And Cleveland Guardians are a new team in Major League Baseball. They're second in the American League Central. So they're off to a good start. We have Tristan McKenzie pitching for them tonight, 0-1 with a 2.38 ERA. And for the Angels, they're second in the West. And Mike Trout's bat is starting to heat up from what I've been seeing. And there's a lot of people think that the Angels are overvalued. I'm one of the few I think that they are undervalued, and they're a team that actually, with Houston playing as bad as they are, the Angels are in position to take control of the division, and who knows, they might actually win the division. Long way to go, I know, but I do like how they're playing right now. Let's start with Kevin Thomas on this one and see where he's going to take us for a best bet opportunity.
Oh yeah, when these Angels get healthy, they could be one of the top teams to come out of the AL. But I'm looking at their pitcher, Patrick Sandoval. This kid's throwing eight innings now with 0 earned runs. So I mean, he's getting about four point some innings last two. So I'm liking that right there, but I'm liking the total on this game because then you look at the other side. You talked about McKenzie when he started for the Guardians. Everyone thought, what a stud. And then he had some issues. I think it was more command than anything because the kid can throw some heat. So he went back down to AAA, and he's back, and I like what I see. So I like to look back maybe 10 games back. That's how I kind of figure out stats. I don't look over history because so many players change and stuff. And the ball, everything changes every year. So I look back at the recent games, and in the last 7 games each, they're averaging 3.2 runs, both teams. That comes out to 6 runs there. I'm going to go ahead and lock in the under 7.5 here for my best bet on this game.
Great breakdown, Kevin. I like it a lot. And let's move on to Rocky Atkinson, and who's in the middle of a thunderstorm right now, which I am monitoring in case we do lose electricity with him. But Rocky, tell us where you think the best bet is in this matchup.
I like Cleveland here. They come in with 4 losses in a row. Angels are 7-3 the last 10 games overall. The public's all over the Angels here, 78% being on the Angels at this time. I feel like, again, we have an underperforming team here in Cleveland. And it's time to get things on track. And they send Tristan McKenzie to the mound. He has 2 starts this year, 1.08 ERA overall and a 0 ERA on the road this season. McKenzie's 1-0 with a 1.29 ERA in his 1 career start versus the Angels. Patrick Sandoval has pitched very well also. And I like Kevin's underplay here as in 2 starts this year. He has a 0.00 ERA so far, but he is 0-1 with a 6.14 ERA his 2 starts in his career against Cleveland. So Cleveland has destroyed left-handed starters this year, scoring 7.3 runs per game, but the record's only 4-3 in those games. That means their pitching hasn't done their job. But with McKenzie on the hill tonight, I feel good about their chances and the run support. And Cleveland's 36-17 their last 53 games after scoring two runs or less in their previous game. The Angels are 6-13 their last 19 games against right-handed starters. The Angels are 7-15 the last 22 home games. Cleveland's 36-15 the last 51 meetings overall against this Angels team, including 10-4 the last 14 meetings in Los Angeles. So I'm going to recommend a play on the underdog Cleveland in this one tonight.
Oh, I love it, Rocky. I have one thing to add here. It's one of my, I guess you could call it a power system. And unfortunately, Rocky, I don't think we've ever done a show where we've been on opposite sides in 2 of 3 games, let alone 1. But nevertheless, this is a pretty good system. That's why I'm mentioning it. It's not necessary to go against you. It's for information, and for people listening, you can take this information and use it, or you can say, you know what, I don't agree with it. And that's fine. That's what the show's all about. So this system is going to be playing against underdogs of 150 and higher, which the Guardians are, that have a team batting average of 255 or worse in the American League, which is just about every single team right now. And this is a 5-year system. And this team is after a combined score of 3 or fewer runs. So it's a dog of 150 and higher, 3 or fewer runs in the previous game, and the team batting average is not higher than 255. Betting against those teams, guys, has produced a 105-22 record, 83% winners. The dime better has made over 60 grand in the last 5 years betting this simple to follow system. So for what it's worth, that supports the Angels, obviously. So now we're going to move on to our favorite part of the show in the best bet segment. And boy, I thought for sure when I started this show I knew what I was going to do. But why don't we start with Kevin Thomas? I'll put him on the hook here to go first. That's always the hardest part of the show. And I'm the host, and I can go anywhere I want in the batting order. So, Kevin, the floor is yours.
So earlier on the First Family show, make sure to check it out. We talked about the Marlins and the Nationals, and I gave the under 7.5. That line opened at 8. I really like that pick. But I actually had a premium pick on the game, which I didn't get to give out. You're getting it here for free as my best bet. We're going to look at the pitcher again, Sandy Alcantara, the Philly killer. This guy is a stud. Last game, 8 innings, 0 earned runs, but the Marlins still lost. And the runs, they actually, that Jazz Chisholm, I like the kid. I'm stocking up with his card. I think he's going to be a stud. But then you look at the Nationals, they also got a stud pitching tonight. That's why I like the under. Josiah Gray, like I said, he came from the Dodgers in the trade for Scherzer and Trey Turner. They didn't just give away, they had to give up guys for Scherzer, and he's going to be a stud down the future. 6'11", guy has 4 great pitches. I'm taking the Nationals here. I think they can get I think Sandy makes it maybe 6-7 innings, and then they get to the bullpen. And at home, I like the Nationals here for the nice money value.
That's great stuff. So there you have it, Kevin Thomas on the Washington Nationals at home tonight as a modest underdog, if I remember the betting line for that game. So there's definitely value there for sure. Rocky, let's put you front and center and see what your best bet is for the show.
Well, my best bet is going to be going against both of you guys here, which, makes me a little bit nervous, to be honest with you. But we've already discussed it. We've already discussed it here on the show of why I like them, but it's on the Houston Astros here. Just want to add, they haven't been playing good ball here, but this is a much better team than they've been playing. And Texas, they are an improved club this year, in my opinion. They added a couple studs. I know, I think Kevin mentioned Seager, and they added somebody else that's pretty decent in the lineup. So they are improved, in my opinion. But I just don't see this Texas team beating Houston 2 games in a row here. So my best bet's going to be on the Houston Astros.
Wow. Now it's my turn. Can we pause a live show? Give me time to think. Well, we have fun on these shows, and I'm going to tell you why I like the Texas Rangers, and a lot of it has to do with Houston's bats and how they match up against this pitcher. And this pitcher is is Taylor Hearn, very imposing figure, 6'6", 230 pounds, throws about a 96 mile an hour fastball with just natural sinking movement. He also, in my opinion, from what I researched this morning, is that his slider is one of the best pitches. It's definitely his best pitch. And what's the best pitch to throw to a guy that's at the plate that has an uppercut? An off-speed breaking pitch when you're definitely ahead in the count. Or when you're behind the count when they're sitting on a fastball. And I'll be interested to see how many strikeouts he gets from this Houston Astros batting order tonight, because he does have the stuff. And he is a good old Texas boy from Royce City, Texas. He went to Royce City High School. And he was drafted by the Washington Nationals in the 5th round of the 2015 Major League Baseball June Amateur Draft. And then he went on to Oklahoma and played for Oklahoma Baptist University, which is located in Shawnee, Oklahoma, I believe. So this young man can really bring the goods, and against a team that I think is fundamentally flawed. Many of those players are I mentioned the DH, Jordan Alvarez is who I was referencing. 7 for 46, 165 batting average. 4 of his 7 hits are home runs. So what does that tell you? His launch angle is nowhere close to 18, which is the maximum. That's the perfect launch angle to make the ball go the farthest based on your exit velocity. But his is only 10.4 degrees, which means what? He's coming over top of these breaking pitches and just pounding them into the ground. He has an excellent exit velocity speed of 93 miles an hour when he does make contact. But I think he's, kind of exemplary of that whole entire lineup. So, guys, I could be dead wrong, and I don't want to lose friends over just, a simple Major League Baseball game. But I'm going to be on the Texas Rangers here, and until the Astros start hitting, I'm probably not going to back them anytime soon. So sorry about that, Rocky. And well, Kevin, you're actually leading Texas, so it's 2-1. But that brings us to the end of the show. I wanted to mention Roger Along here said in the chat room, keep pounding the Dodgers -1.5, 2.5, 3.5 run lines. Wow. I mean, I don't think you'll disagree with me. Dodgers right now are by far the best team in Major League Baseball. Now I have the Yankees second, but there is a gap between first and second, and it's early in the year, but I've never seen a gap this big at any time of the last 5 seasons between the first and the second team. It's a marathon. Unfortunately, there will be injuries, and these rankings will change. Who's to say that that's going to be the case come the World Series? But I know the media ratings would be really high for a Yankees-Dodgers World Series, that's for sure. All right, before I let you guys go, I want each one of you to tell everyone what's going on at Sports Memo, what good plays, special offers you might have, and we'll start with Kevin Thomas on that regard.
Well, I got the pleasure of being one of the $2 Tuesdays today, so it's a huge NHL total of the year for $2 over at Sports Memo, or you partner me up with the other 2 great people, Dion or the GOAT, and you get all 3 of us for $5. And today, I mean, it's got to be now or never. Hop on.
Love it. Let's move over to Rocky and see what he's got going at Sports Memo.
So I actually took a pass here today in all sports. I didn't have anything I liked, so I don't force anything. But I'm on an 87-55 NBA run, 72-51 Major League Baseball run, and I'm up in hockey again this year after being documented #1 the past 2 years in the NHL. So hopefully Wednesday we'll have something for everyone.
And that's really important that Rocky said that, because one, it's 100% transparency, and that's what Sports Memo is all about. And you know what? Taking a day off when you don't like the card is probably the smartest thing you can possibly do. And instead of forcing a bet just because of the action, or oh wow, Memphis and Minnesota playing tonight, and I'm going to watch it on TV, so I have to make a bet. That's just stupidity. You're better off watching a Netflix series, with your wife or something than watching an NBA game that you have no information on and you're just flying by the seat of your pants. But that's how pros do it. We learn. There's days that you just know you're not going to place any bets. You're not going to give anything to the clients, and it is what it is. I've been on a pretty good tear in the NBA. You guys can go over to Sports Memo and see it. It's I've actually, believe it or not, I've lost 3 in a row, and I'm still hitting 76% over the last 20. So it's been quite the run. 7-1 and 5% max plays. One probably will be identified tomorrow. I'm looking at one of the games in a total from my predictive model, so be sure to look for that. Other than that, I got nothing else to say. People say I like to gab and I have a gift to talk, but I think they're full of malarkey. I don't talk that much. Anyway, on behalf of Rocky Atkinson and Kevin Thomas, SportsMemo.com, and the Major League Baseball Double Play Show, remember 2 things. Bet with your head, not over it. and may all the wins be yours. Thanks for watching.